Good afternoon. Phil Lindeman with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93. A man is wanted in Breckenridge on 23 charges, including 5 felonies for criminal tampering and obstruction. He has missed court at least once. Another man is charged with assaulting police last week, twice. First assault came just after midnight in Breck. Second came after he was booked for, quote, assault with bodily fluids on detention staff. Summit County remains at medium risk for COVID transmission, 3 weeks after a surge in local cases. Since June 1st, caseload per 100,000 has wavered between 180 and 239 people. Locals in their 60s and 30s are most likely to get sick. Hospitalizations remain low. Starting tomorrow is the Shots for Tots COVID vaccination program. Parents can make vaccine appointments for kids aged 6 months to 4 years. In the past month, 17 local kids under the age of 9 have come down with COVID. That is the third fewest of any age group. The mobile COVID testing site in Breckenridge is closing June 30th as demand for testing keeps falling. The site in Frisco at the Senior Center stays open 7 days a week. A woman was tossed from a raft in Glenwood Canyon over the weekend and later died of a suspected heart issue. The Post-Independent reports today that the middle-aged woman was on a commercial rafting trip when her boat flipped. She was in the water several minutes before guides pulled her ashore, where she soon collapsed, likely from a heart attack. She could not be revived. Town of Dillon is holding a special election to fill a vacant council seat. Council made the decision last night by split vote. They were deadlocked on appointing a new member. That election is held September 13th. This week on the State of Summit.
The interstate is beautiful at Silverthorne, but up at the top of the tunnel coming down westbound, there are so many accidents, it's ridiculous.
That was a Krystal listener from this year's Mayuary snowstorms. Calls like this one inspired us to review 6 years of accident data from I-70 between Georgetown and Vail. Here's what we found. Traffic hit record highs in 2019 before tapering off for the pandemic. It is ramping back up now, but there is little correlation between more traffic and more accidents. The biggest reason for extended closures of more than 1 hour is weather.
It's hard for us to emphasize how challenging conditions may be tomorrow.
That was CDOT from the longest closure in recent history, 17 hours in early February 2020, after 3 feet of snow and winds over 60 miles per hour. The avalanches of early March 2019 resulted in 35 separate closures, the most of any month. March alone sees twice as many closures as June, July, August, and September. But there, traffic can play a role. March is historically the busiest winter month.
We recognize that it might seem like every weekend CDOT is saying, avoid the roads and don't travel in the mountains. And we're hoping that we're not seeming like we're just crying wolf.
The mellowest month of the year is August, with just 6 closures over the past 6 years, 4 of them happening in 2020 alone. It almost makes you grateful for Cone Zone season. Tune in again next week for the State of Summit on Krystal 93. Local fire danger remains moderate today with no fire restrictions here in Summit. In sports, the Rockies play the Marlins today. The Avalanche are back in Tampa Bay for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. They lead the Lightning 2-1. And in local sports, brought to you by Red Mountain Autos at their new location on Airport Road. Hundreds of people traded cars for bikes today for the annual Bike to Work or Wherever Day. Posted up in Dillon was Della Crone with event sponsor Pants.
We are the physical activity nutrition team of Summit. We're a coalition of volunteers, and there are 3 events that we put on. One of them is Bike to Work Day, and that's the physical activity part of it.
The other 2 are School Nutrition Month in March and the Holiday Weight Challenge. Keystone is open for summer. Today was opening day for Keystone Bike Park, mountaintop snow tubing, and more. Arapahoe Basin will open for the not winter season on Friday. Phil Lindeman with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93.